Greetings, Patrick here, Eight Questions With, and welcome to the show. Happy Thursday to everybody. It is a warm day here in southeastern Michigan. Yesterday it was all rain from the storm that went through Texas. And now we got a summer day here in Michigan. Um, wow. Hope everybody's doing well. We are going to be talking with a small business owner, Mike Piro, Mike's Monsters. He'll be here in about 15 minutes, and I really am glad you guys are out here for this one. Hopefully, you'll come out for the replay. If you miss it, you'll hit the replay. There's mighty John Henderson from Doomsday Crypt. Walks right through the door. Hey, John, how are you? Yeah, so Mike Piro, um, he's a warrior, man. He's a warrior. He's got his business up and running. He's come from some hard times, and he is working very hard on making himself a major success. And of course, in my eyes, he is a major success. Um, and I'm excited to talk to him. This will be our second time that we've talked to a small store owner, a toy store owner. Of course, you know that Christy Adams from Nightmare Toys is pretty much a regular here on Eight Questions With. Um, but now we got another gentleman here who's also going to be coming on in and sharing what he has to offer you. And their website is live, just went up live. And the store has been open, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's been very open more than a month. So we caught him at the right time, as far as I'm concerned. You guys could go ahead and check out. I put the website. It's on top of the chat there, so you guys can go check out what Mike is offering. Um, if we're gonna have to figure out, like when you type in Mike's Monsters, um, you're gonna get a lot of Monsters Inc. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but Mike Wazowski was staring back at me when I typed in Mike's Monsters on Google. Um, but Mike's it's gonna take a little bit of time, but he's gonna establish his own footprint. That's for sure. Uh, uh, hey, hi Mac, how are you? All right. That's right. Hi, Brene. How are you? Yeah, I know you were on the road. I think you were on the road, and I think Bree was on the road. For quite a while. Um, so glad to see you guys are coming back. Um, and what's going on, Mac? What's happening? What's the haps? What would you what's going on? You can go ahead and cut loose here. While you think about that, do want to tip my tip of our hat to the passing of Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall passed away today. She was 75. Um, I got to be honest with you, man. It's one of those things where you're sort of glad. You're glad. You're happy. Um, she had a really, really, really rough part of her second half of her life. She went so much shit, had so much troubles. Um, when you hear about her passing away, you just got to give a sigh of relief that her time, her time is over and she can move on. Um, Actually, it's the same way I hope that people look at me when my time comes. I hope that nobody mourns for me, like, not in that way. I hope people celebrate in the fact that, okay, his pain is over with. Um, and that's how I looked at with Shelley. Um, she was a tremendous actress, and then she just crashed and burned after The Shining, and just really never recovered, really ever at all. Um, so really, really, it's mixed emotions. You're sad that her life had to end that way, but at the same time, you're really glad that it's over with. She's no longer has to worry about anything. Her mental anguish, her pain, whatever demons she had with inside. Um, of course, the tobacco companies will be very upset because she pretty much kept probably most of them business. Um, but it was ironically that she didn't die of that. She died of complications from diabetes. Who would have ever thought that? Um, uh, Well, I'm sorry, Mac. Yeah, life is a little bit rough, man. I'm not gonna kid you not, man. Right? Life is rough. No kidding. It does seem to be getting a little bit rougher, doesn't it? Um, I do want to say that we had a great guest yesterday. We had a fantastic guest yesterday, and Katie Thrun, poet, writer, spoken word performer. Absolutely loved the interview. Enjoyed talking to her very much. She had a lot of interesting and insightful things to say. You can watch that on replay. If you're into poetry, if you're into language, if you're into uh, uh, emotion and heartfelt, and if you're in love with words, um, basically, if you like Charles Bukowski or Jack Kerouac or Sylvia Plath or any number one of people like that, or writers and poets and expressionists, and by all means, please watch and listen to our interview that we did yesterday. Uh, she was a great olive oil. I can't be the only one who loved that film. She was the perfect olive oil. I mean, you could not have picked in history a better actress to play olive oil than Shelley Duvall. She was absolutely perfect. It's almost like it's when they created olive oil, even though Shelley Duvall wasn't alive yet when that happened. But when they designed the character of olive oil, they could not have picked a better actress to do it. She was absolutely dead on perfect. Unfortunately, I have one of the guys coming home. Um, oh, one of your guys coming home. Well, hope he's doing okay. Oh, me coming home, coming back to the center. Um, I hope that's okay. Let's see. Yes. The perfect olive oil and Wendy Torrance. Yep. Um, yeah, it's a damn shame that her life just fell apart after The Shining. Um, that's one of the reasons why I can't really get into Stanley Kubrick too. I'll be honest with you. I sort of hold that. I just can't get into somebody like that, who made that poor woman go through that shit. 127 takes, and that's just the one story. Plus all the other shit that she used to do. She said that she was pretty much when she woke up to when she went to bed, she was in tears. I mean, she was young, she was impressionistic, and she was hungry. She wanted to work, and Stanley Kubrick took advantage of that. I really don't understand how anybody can sit there and talk about Stanley Kubrick, like, yeah, he's the greatest, when he was just a piece of shit human being. It's like Roman Polanski, it's the same thing as there, or Harvey Weinstein. I just don't get it. It's like, it's like just he, look, you can like the movies all you want. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that because there's more to a movie than just one person. But man, when people sit there and start doing their best directors list and they put Stanley Kubrick on there, it's just like, man, I'm just going like, man, I just can't do that. I just can't. I mean, he made a lot of good movies, man. He did, but I can't sit there and tell you that I like him. I wouldn't have tea with him, that's for sure. Um, Yeah, right. See, I can understand that, Jim. See, I can, yeah. I mean, a movie is more than one person. So yes, I can like his movies. Though I didn't like The Shining, I can like his movies per se. But he himself, oh, just disgusting. Just no, 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 not. I don't really. It's like one of the reasons why I probably don't talk about his movies a lot on here anyway, because of that. I did, I could talk about the Ninth Gate. I really like the Ninth Gate. Uh, Roman Polanski directed it. I can divide the two, man, but I just don't like Polanski, the director, at all. I wouldn't hire him either. I wouldn't hire Kubek. I wouldn't hire any of these people. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want anything. I wouldn't want them to be any part of my project. So So yeah. Well, that's. I hope people. I do have seen some people comment on the fact that Shelley passed today, and I'm glad to see there's a lot of respectful words on there, and people should respect her. I wasn't the biggest Shelley Duvall fan. I wasn't like she wasn't my first choice for actress. She was good in what she did. She wasn't one of my favorites per se. Uh, but man, when it comes down to making a movie, though, man, I felt really bad for her. I still do. I still do. Her whole career, the second half of her career just went up in smoke. And she just never recovered from the damage, the emotional damage, the mental damage that she went through The Shining. So, uh, some people can't recover, but some people can, and some people do. And one of the general we're going to be talking with the general we're talking with tonight, we're going to talk about success. We're going to talk about overcoming, and that's going to be with Mike Piro here in a few minutes. Super excited that he's here. Um, Shark and Schlock Week is up and running. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I absolutely that was a fantastic review. I cracked up when I watched that. You turned it over, and you can see on the back of that movie the credits for Knives Out. I was crying. I was laughing so hard at that. Oh, but you know what? I don't blame you for getting the movie that way. Hey, as long as it plays, hey, if it plays, it plays. All right, the doorbell has rang, so our guest is here. Please help me welcome in the owner of Mike's Monsters Collectibles and Toys. Mike Piro's here. I'm probably crushing his name
Whoa.
too. Watch this.
There we go.
Hey, Mike, how are
I'm,
you?
I'm in. Good. How you doing?
Good, good. All right. Oh wow, look at the shirt he's flying.
Yeah, terrifying, man. Come on. Got to do it.
No, yeah. David Howard Thornton's I'm a fan of his. I'm a big fan of Art. Um, as you well know, Art is now one of my favorite horror icons. But can you guess why he is one of my favorite horror icons?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
I
you know
can't.
why he's one of my favorite horror icons? And when I tell you my reason, he'll become one of yours as well.
I don't know the kills. I mean, that's a tough one.
I know, huh? Right? That's what people immediately think. Mike, they go like, because you like the kills. You like when he split the girl in half.
Sure.
You like no. Um, what makes Art so damn cool? He's a cat guy. He loves
Oh, he's
cats.
the cat guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a cat guy. I asked David Howard Thornton myself after I watched the first Terrifier,
Yep.
and I noticed that he wasn't messing around with the cats. So I asked him on social media. I said, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I said, is Art the Clown a cat guy? And he goes, absolutely.
So it's in the lore. It's
It's in the
officially in the
lore.
lore of Terrifier that Art is a cat guy. So I
Art
assume
is
you're a
a cat.
cat guy then. Okay.
I am a cat guy. If you look
Awesome.
right above you there, you'll see a small picture of my cat.
Oh, okay. And I see you're a Devils fan too. Is that a Devils hat I see wearing?
It is. It's New
Uh,
Jersey, baby.
I'm a Ranger fan, but yeah, we'll have another episode about that, right?
That's right. Man, I'm so happy to meet you, man. I gotta tell you, man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud you're here, man. I
Thanks,
really
man.
am.
I appreciate you having me on.
I think you have a hell of a story, man, and super psyched to talk to you about it. It's really excited for the store. Store looks absolutely sick.
Thanks,
Uh,
man. I appreciate
man,
that.
the store is absolutely sick. It is amazing. It's a very cool store.
Yeah, I
Uh,
tried. I had no plan of what I was gonna do when I mean, I had all the inventory and everything, but I had no layout of, what was gonna go where. So I kinda winged it. And I love the way I love and I'm constantly moving stuff. So someone will come in 1 week and they'll be like, "Oh, it's still not finalized yet," but I'm kinda crazy, so it probably will never be finalized. I'll probably will always be moving stuff around, but,
mhm.
I like the layout. I'm happy with it, and I appreciate that you do too.
Yeah, it looks absolutely immaculate. I saw the store. We also had Christy on from Nightmare Toys. Their stores, I saw a lot of similarities in how your setup is and how beautiful it is. How it's like, it's almost like you guys were looking at each other and going like, it looked like images. It
Yeah,
looked
well, I'll
absolutely.
tell you, I've been following her on Instagram for, like, maybe, I don't know, 3 years now, I'd say, and she was one of out of maybe 3 or 4 people who own shops that got me to, like, actually say, "Oh, wait, hold on. I think I can do if they can do it, no offense to them, but just if anybody can do this, why can't I do it?" So I give her credit. She doesn't know who I am. She probably will never know who I am, but she actually gave me the motivation because I saw her doing it and I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing like that around here. Let me see if I can do that." And there's a couple stores that kind of we cross over with some inventory, certain things that are in a couple cities around here, but nothing exactly like a straight horror, little bit of pop culture store. So she is definitely awesome. I would love to meet her. I just want to go to Vegas to see her shop. Tell you the truth.
No doubt, no doubt about that. And she is razor sharp.
Yeah,
As far as like, yeah, she's absolutely razor sharp. As far as the business goes, she knows absolutely everything. She's got her finger on the pulse. It's incredible.
yeah,
And that's credible too because you have your finger on the pulse too, just based on looking at the store, looking at the inventory and the figures you got going on in there. It's and of course my very f- and of course, my very first question to you was about the whole thing was, did you have a Black Phillip Funko Pop? And
yep.
I'm still out of luck with that. I'm still shooting
Me
blanks.
too.
I,
Me too, man.
I'm telling you,
Me too. It's hard to find.
I think it's a damn conspiracy, Mike.
It might be. It might be fake. Yeah, all the photos are fake. Everyone's photoshopped. Black Phillip pops. Yeah,
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 I keep hearing about the black. I mean, and of course, Christy, being such a sweetheart she is, she always comes out and does the show, and then she'll have Black Phillip hanging out with her. I'm just like, that's just awesome, and I so appreciate it.
yeah,
But let me ask you a question. Well, now, I mean, I know I know a lot of store owners collect their own merchandise. I guess you would say it's safe to say that you are a collector before you are a owner. So, what kind of collection do you own now?
so it's if you walk into my house, we're in like my studio right now because I do a podcast. So we converted a room to a studio. So that's what we're in right now. But if you walk, every room in my house has horror. It's all horror really. And like these are some of the pieces that I kind of wanted to like. There's a leprechaun piece. This is flipped, so it's kind of hard. Where am I? Okay, there's a leprechaun piece right here. You can see it. It's kind of I don't know how dark it is back there, but it's probably
Oh, I
about
see.
this
I see.
probably about this big, and, some guy on Etsy makes them. I don't know if he's making them anymore, um, but I love stuff like that no mass producer like NECA or Funko, like, they don't make any well, they make a little Funko Leprechaun, but I like the cool and unique bigger things, so I have, like, the Creeper. I think he's out of camera because the camera's kinda cut off, but I got like, a Xenomorph head, a big Xenomorph head. I just love anything nostalgic related and horror related. That's kind of what I collect. But I have the NECAs. That's where I started was buying NECAs and the 7-inch figures. And I have little cubbies filled with all the Friday the 13th cubby, Nightmare Before Elm Street cubby. But then I started stepping up my game and getting some cooler pieces to when people walk in my house, they're like, "Oh, where did you get that?" So that's kind of what I collect, but I've actually brought in some into the shop because I'm like, I think it might be time to go. I think maybe pass this one on to someone else. So there are some items in my shop that are from my collection that I brought in just to kind of sell and give to other people, let them enjoy it.
That's amazing. That's really an amazing thing. I think it's cool when I see owners do that, reach into their own personal stash and
Oh yeah.
sell it.
Oh yeah.
It's more like a personal bond between this customer base and the owner. Like if you're sitting there and let's say there's a rare piece. Let's just say for the hell of it, just because not that it's never going to freaking happen, but
Yeah.
let's say for the hell of it, there was a Black Phillip. Like, you brought that out and then you sell it and it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. He had it and he's selling it. man, that guy's got a hell of a collection, and he's cool enough to let it go and let it have a new home.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty special.
Exactly, yes. I have a, there's one thing that I won't let go. I have a Chucky Child's Play 2 full-size doll in the store, and it's kinda right when you walk in, and it's, like, before he turns evil, right? Like, it's like he's, like, no regular doll, like, he just looks like the nice doll in the box, and everyone wants to buy it. I But you kinda can't get him anymore. They stopped making
Right,
them, so I have a NECA one which is like the evil Chucky from Bride of Chucky, where his face is all stapled and stuff like that. I'll sell that one, but the one in the front of the store people always want, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't get it anymore. And it brings people into the shop because they can kind of see
right.
it. But if if someone's listening right now, watching, you want to offer me something crazy, I am open to negotiations. Okay.
Right.
So hit
Uh,
me up.
what's the opening price? 5K?
No, I usually tell people like I'm honest. I tell them what I paid for it 5 years ago, which was like $500 or whatever it was, and you can't get it anymore. So I'm like, we got to start at $1,000 and then go from there, basically, for me to
Oh,
part with that Chucky doll.
we're gonna screw that, man. We're gonna double up the price on that one, baby.
I know I'm
Something
not. Listen, I
grand.
don't have that businessman heart. That's what I feel like I need to get better at. Like even today, I just bought a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff from some guy, and we're haggling over prices and da da da. And I don't have that like cutthroat Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, deal or no deal. I don't have that yet. And I feel, and I'm not saying I need it, but I feel bad when like I'm saying, hey, listen, I got to buy this for 50, 60% from you because I need to make money off of it. So
Yeah, you know what
that
though? There's
that's
no
the
reason.
business part I'm still working on.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell you, you got to have that. You got to have it. I mean, it's
Yep.
great to go out there and be friends with people and everything else. But if you were just going to do that, you might as well just open up do a yard sale.
Museum or something. Yeah,
Do a yard sale. But you're not there.
exactly.
You're there to make this. You're running a small business. You're running a business of your own, and you have
100%.
to protect it as best you can. And
Absolutely.
and people who go through there, go walk through there, they have to understand that too. A business is not there to give, it's there to, it's not, it's there to make money. That's what it's
Oh, yeah.
designed to do. We're not here to design to lose money. We're here to make money.
Yes.
And including on horror items and collectibles.
Oh, yeah.
No one can blame you for sitting there, and you can negotiate, but the fact of the matter is you have a bottom line that you can reach, and it's like if you can't reach it, then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It's like I can't go any lower than this and still have enough on the bone, to make money off of it.
Yep.
It doesn't
Exactly.
do me any good because people say they just look at the item itself. And what they don't understand,
Yeah.
what they don't see is what comes with that item. The rent, the mortgage, the inventory,
The space.
the
Yep.
lights, the
Exactly.
water, all that goes into the factoring of that. And people just don't seem to understand
No.
how wide of a scope truly, when you're negotiating for prices, what it truly encompasses.
Yeah, and then, like, they're like, "You could just throw it up on eBay," right? And I was never an eBay guy, but I just saw my first thing on eBay. It was a very cool Ninja Turtle, the 4-pack, that was like came out in 2018. It's the 4-pack of the original from the original movie. It looks like the VHS box. It was really cool. So put that on eBay, and it was my first sale, and I sold to the guy $300, which is kind of was the average asking price for it. And then all of a sudden, what was in my eBay account was like 250 something. I'm like, wait, what? And I just look it up and it's like eBay takes 15%. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. I didn't even look up how much eBay takes. That's a lot. Like, I was shocked how much they must be printing money over there.
Yeah,
15% is a lot. It's
that's
a
a
lot of
lot
money
of
to take.
money. That is a lot of money. That is a
So I'm
lot.
learning something new every day. Every day as a business owner, been about a month and a half since I've opened the store. I do learn something new every day. It's fun. I love it. I love it.
Now, is there anybody, before we get into the next question, I just want to say hi to the people coming in the chat. Our friend, Frog and Betty are here.
What's
Uh,
up, Frog and Betty?
yep. I'm glad you guys are here. There's some friends that came in, look like they're friends. I saw one gentleman says, John Fetto is here. Says, Pyro, what's up?
Fedo,
Um,
that's my guy. What's
and
up, dude?
Doobie's here. Aaron is here. He says he hopes the story is doing well.
Aaron,
Uh,
and that might be one of my best customers right there, Aaron. If it's the Aaron that I know, he's like one of my best. I love great kid, great kid.
that's great that the fans are coming out. You know, the people that follow the store and follow you.
Absolutely.
I want to get to your story because your backstory
Sure.
because it's absolutely fascinating for me, and it's one that it's one of the best for me anyway. You have, my young friend, has overcome a lot in your life to get to where you're at now. So let's talk about it a little bit because
Absolutely. I'm an open book.
I think you're a fucking inspiration.
Thanks. I didn't know if we could swear. So, okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was waiting.
yeah.
I have a bad mouth. So, okay, cool.
Uh, so I guess we'll go back to your beginnings because we got to develop your love of horror, and I'm
For
sure
sure.
you're a huge love of music as well. Um,
Absolutely.
and so let's start with that first. So how did you get into the horror? I mean, do you remember your origins, so to speak? Were your parents, brothers and sisters, or were your friends all in horror? What was the first thing that you remember watching or reading?
Yeah.
For
It's a great question. It's a hard question, but I always tell people so there's 2 answers. The first thing that I was ever scared of, like the first horror movie I ever remember watching and then having to go into like my parents' room because I couldn't sleep was Leprechaun. Right here, Leprechaun. Little Warwick Davis dressed up in that prosthetic makeup, did something to me, and I thought he was real, and so that was the first thing that I was legitimately scared of, um, but then the love of horror so that was, like, the first movie that I really that stuck with me as a horror movie, but the love of horror was, for me, Nightmare on Elm Street.
mm,
Freddy, I remember making my parents, like, take me to video stores and, little, mom and pop video stores, Blockbusters, to try and go collect all the Nightmare on Elm Street VHSs, and I got 1, I would get part 4, then I'd get part 5, and I finally got them all together, and then, like, a month later, they released, like, the six-pack VHS all in one, and I was just like I remember being like a 12-year-old kid and just being like, "What? I just spent like 3 years trying to get all these together, and they released this awesome, like, VHS box, and I spent all that time buying each one." So, that's kinda
Isn't
where
that
it all
always
started.
something? Isn't that always something?
Yep.
That's the thing. I've had that happen too, where you go on there and you're looking for that one special movie, that one, franchise, and you're looking all over for it, and you get it, and you go like, hell yeah, and there it is on the shelf, and then on there on Blu-ray.com. Well, they decided they're gonna release a brand new set, and it's all the movies that you wanted, and all for a much lower price that you paid
Oh,
for it.
yeah, it's always a lower price. It's always a lower price. Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst.
So what made Nightmare on Elm Street so much special for you? Was it because at the time, I mean, there's a lot of horror out by that time.
Lot
So
of
what made
horror,
Freddy?
a
What
lot
made
of
Freddy?
movies, you get The Shinings, The Exorcist, you had a lot of stuff flowing around that I could have grabbed at. I think Freddie spoke to me because he actually spoke. He was the vocal villain, and I love that. I loved his personality. I was young, so I didn't realize like, ooh, number 5 is kinda cheesy, right? Number 6 is horrible. I'm young just watching them, just waiting for Freddie to pop up, and I think because he talked and he had jokes and quips and he was really witty with the characters. That's why I liked him. And Leprechaun, same thing. Like it's just I like the kind of campy, cheesy, lower budget kind of stuff. So that might have been why I like that is because of the campiness of that franchise. I think that's what it is. The others are fine. Michael Myers, everybody loves him. My best friend, he swears by he has a Michael Myers tattoo, and we always fight who's the best. Da, da, da. And I don't think it's a comparison. I think Freddy is the
Oh
ultimate
yeah, yeah,
slasher.
yeah,
That's me.
yeah. No, you can't compete. There's only. When it comes down to king of the slashers, you got to go with Jason. But Freddy's not bad. I mean, he's definitely a hard push for number two.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's all about preference. I get it. I get everybody's preference, but I mean, I love Jason. It's tough. Who has the most kills? There's a lot of rankings you can do. There's a lot of debate. I would love like a nice little panel of ten people. Everybody's got to pick one, and we all fight it out and prove proof who's the
Ja-
best. I
Ja-
would love
Ja-
that.
You know what's funny is like people talk about that like who has the most kills, and it's like a sort of a cheat. It's sort of
It
a
is.
cheat when you sit down and sit there and say, well, and if you're a Jason fan, you're sort of mumbling it too. It's not one of those things you're going like, oh yeah, well, it's one of those things where you go like, okay, yeah, so Jason X, because
Yeah.
it's embarrassing to sit there and say that
Yeah.
because because he wiped out the space station. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
does that really count as
As his
I
kills. Yeah,
killed
for
him,
sure.
didn't
Yep.
I?
Yep. But
uh,
listen, Jason X came out at such a perfect time for me. So like I love Jason X just
Me
for the
too.
nostalgic factor. I just love it. Love it. I'm
Hey,
waiting on a mask. Like I know a couple people make them and I actually brought a couple collectibles to show off on the show. And one of my friends who makes Jason masks and I sell them in the shop, but he doesn't make a Jason X one just because it's molded different and it's just a totally different looking mask. That's the only thing I don't have in my collection that like I really want is a Jason X mask. So if
the
anybody out
the
there's
Uber
watching,
Jason, the Uber Jason.
well, yeah, Uber Jason, yeah, exactly, yeah,
Now,
badass.
as far as selling products like that, I mean, now, how does that work as far as you go? Are you allowed to buy products from someone like that, a third party, for a IP like Jason? Um, if he's let's say he's not licensed, by
Yeah, listen,
Paramount. It's
listen, I don't I don't want to get any authorities involved. I don't want to call anybody out. I
right.
don't People make the stuff, I buy the stuff, I sell the stuff. I don't think we're making too much of a dent to
No,
where anyone cares. There is probably some sort of infraction going on with, like I buy pins from someone and we have to name them something different rather
right,
than an actual character. So like
right.
there are things that you have to kind of loop around. But I mean, I don't know, maybe in a year the FBI will crack down on me. I'll get arrested for selling all this stuff in my shop for calling it Jason Mass. I mean, who knows? I guess we'll find out. But
Well,
I like
I've
to
only,
brand it like,
honest to God, I've only seen that one time in all the times
oh
I've been
yeah?
at a convention. At a
Oh,
convention,
yeah, of course.
they
Okay, at
were
a convention. Yeah.
they were doing a bootleg of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen anything like that happen. That's the only
Wow.
time.
Okay.
Hey Anthony, how are you? And he's saying hello to you.
What's
He's
up?
saying hi to you, Mike. Yeah.
How you guys
Anthony
doing?
is in New York. He's not that far away from Connecticut.
No way.
So
Come
yeah,
to the shop. Come to the shop. It's not a far drive.
definitely, definitely. Let's see. Everybody loves Freddie. Yes, I think I love Freddie too. I like the first. I like Freddie the first one, and I like the New Nightmare.
Yeah, New Nightmare is good. Yeah, New Nightmare is good. That was like Scream student film. That was like the Scream before Scream came out. It was like the meta version of Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's
Wow.
very and it came out a couple years before Scream. So you can see the roots of Wes Craven doing the meta thing where Nightmare on Elm Street movies are actually real in the universe. So I love that movie.
And
It's a good one.
of course, Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven had a good working relationship,
Oh
together.
yeah.
So, uh, and of course, the one thing I'll say, and I don't know how you feel about this, but the New Nightmare with Jackie Earl Haley, I actually thought Jackie Earl Haley did a fantastic job as Freddy. As
Really?
yes.
It's funny you said that because I had that on in the shop about 2 weeks ago. I hadn't watched it in 2 years. I saw it in theaters. I was so excited for it. I remember leaving theaters liking it, being like, "No, no, it was good. It was fine. It was great." But rewatching it, I really I disagree because I think they and it's not his fault. I think they just told
Oh,
him be serious, do not have a personality at all. So I feel like there's not enough they needed to sprinkle in a little bit more of the personality in there. Like I feel like they should try it again. Jack Arrow did a good job, but I feel like they should try it again and maybe cast like a Sam Rockwell. He's got charm. He'll do a little dancing. Like you cast someone who has the Robert England, or just bring Robert England back. I would die to see him back as Freddy on screen.
I think
But
he,
the
I think,
remake,
I
the
think he's
remake's kind of,
retired now, right? I mean,
what's up?
I think Robert England retired, right?
Listen, I saw him at a convention like in October, so he must need some money, right? I mean, so if
Oh,
someone comes at him with a fat check, I
yeah.
don't know if he's turning that down. You know what I mean?
No, no, no. I know they were talking about getting some other actors in there, and I've heard they mentioned Kevin Bacon, and
Yeah,
I'm just like I don't know if that would work. I think it works better when you have a relatively unknown or a
I
character.
agree. I agree
Uh,
totally. Absolutely.
and as far as Jackie goes, what I really liked about Jackie Earl Haley's performance is the fact that people seem to forget one critical aspect about Freddy Krueger. And
Yeah.
this is the same thing with Michael Myers, same thing with Leatherface, same thing with Jason, is that
Okay.
no matter they all have one thing in common, and that is they kill people.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
And with
Totally.
Freddy, he's a child molester. He's a
Oh yeah.
child. So to me, that's what the first movie carried. It had that frightening aspect of him.
Yep.
When he's there and he's popping off quips, I just loses me because he's not a likable character.
Yeah, you're
I
not
don't.
supposed to like exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear your sentiment. I definitely do. But for me, I'm just like it's the nostalgia of Freddy being Freddy and having those quips and stuff and the kills. Can we talk about the kills? The kills are it's the best franchise when it comes to kills. I mean, I don't care if people like
Definitely.
Halloween, Friday 13th. When it comes to the actual kills, the scenes, they're so creative and the effects and like it's they were practical effect reels. They're like the new like Terrifier.
Yeah.
These movies, they're basically practical effects reels. You're just watching it for art and the kills. Like just the what are they going to do this time? How are they going to up themselves? And that's what they were doing back in the 80s and early 90s with Freddie. So that's what I love about it. And if you doing those funny, weird kills to have like a Jason doing it, it kind of doesn't it doesn't mix. That he's Freddy's the outlier. That's kind of why I like him. But I do agree he's a killer. I don't support killing. I don't support murdering. So I
No, of
totally
course
agree with you.
not. It's a movie. It's a
I know.
movie.
I'm
It's a
joking. I'm
character.
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I'm sure you're standing in the store, and I'm sure you hear a lot of people, or you yourself, they'll bring you into it, and like who do you like, Mike? What do you think about this movie, Mike? I mean, do you get that a lot when people come in? Do they
Yes.
ask you I think they expect you to have seen everything all at once, right?
Yeah, they ask a lot, "What should I watch? What are the new horror movies that have come out?" But I love that. I love talking shop, so to speak, right, in the shop. I love that. So they do ask me a lot of the time, and it's tough because I feel like not a lot of horrors come out recently that's been good. I saw In a Violent Nature, that's the last, like, horror movie I saw in theaters, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was like a day in the life of Jason Voorhees. You're just following Jason, basically. It's a genius idea. So that's one I highly recommend to people now when they ask me. But horror recently is it's kinda tough. Not a lot of good stuff comes out, so I just send them back to the old ones. I'm like, "You ever seen" I just kinda name the old ones for them.
Yeah, there's a yeah. That's the thing is, so it does seem it does seem like I'm sure your tastes run to a lot of the older franchises, whatnot. So what else when you were growing up, what else did you watch as a child? And was there or as a young teen, was there any as besides Freddy, was there anything that made an impression on you?
Yeah, I
That
mean, like, I was just like a those were always my favorite movies were the horror movies. Blockbuster, I'm going to the horror section. Me and, like, my high school girlfriend would go to Blockbuster, and I would just, like, rent this no name, low budget zombie movie that no one's ever heard of. There's one copy in there, and I would just grab it. So, I just consumed it all the horror, just like any horror fan watching or listening right now. It's like they kinda you just watch them all. So that's kind of what I did is I've always it was always my favorite genre since I was like 5 years old. So
uh
anything and everything.
Yeah, and so how old were you when you started to discover music? Because I think we all discover movies before we discover music.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well,
um,
I was a very flamboyant kid. I would like perform like for my family, like I'm one of 3 boys, so it's 3 brothers. And like when I was like 5, I'd run into the family room and just like sing like a song that my mom played us, 2 hours before or whatever. So I always love music. I just always love being on stage or performing or anything like that. Um, so I just always loved music from an early age. And then growing up, I got more into like hip hop and that kind because that's kind of the time that it was like late 90s, early 2000s, entering high school, early 2000s. I got really into like the hip hop. So then that's what I started to gravitate towards too. And I haven't really in the past couple of years made music, but I made music throughout my 20s and made a couple songs recently. I think I'll still always do it just because I got to get it out somehow. I got to get
Sure.
these weird, crazy emotions that I have in me. I got to get them out somehow. And the only way I know how to do it is just by like writing lyrics and spitting them into a microphone. So yeah. Hopefully but with the store, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to keep doing that, but, I do have a love for music for sure.
So I mean, it's funny we're talking music, and I just heard about Shifty Shell Shock from Crazy Town. Um, what was some of your emotions when you heard about him passing away?
Oh, I didn't even know that he passed away. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, he died last week.
Wow. Oh, didn't even know. Had no clue. Gee, it's so someone just died today too, like a celebrity. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
celebrities are
Shelley
just
Shelley
dying all the
Duvall.
time.
Yeah,
Uh,
Shelley Duvall passed away. You'll get a lot of questions about The Shining, I'm sure, the next couple of
yeah,
weeks.
yeah, yeah, Mary yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shelley Duvall. Yep, yep, that's who it was. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's weird. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough for like distant. I've talked about this with my friends. It's like, who would you really be affected by when a person dies, like a celebrity? Who would really affect you? And they're good conversations to have because you hear a
Yeah.
celebrity dies, and it's like some people get really affected. I've never really had a celebrity die, and I am genuinely like brokenhearted about it that I'm not going to be able to like consume their art anymore. Not yet, but I think that's just because I'm a little younger, so maybe a lot of people haven't like, like if Eminem is coming out with a new album tomorrow, actually, I'm very excited to listen to it. Hopefully, he can get back to what he used to be. But like, if he died, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm never gonna hear another Eminem song. So maybe I'm just cynical and cold, and maybe I don't know. I don't get a lot like when I hear a celebrity dies, it doesn't affect me like it would if it was someone I knew at all. So it's tough. Maybe I'm a maniac. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the only reason I mention this because this is the part that they don't, because this is the part that I
Segue.
caught.
I
I
love it.
caught on your segue. I caught
Perfect.
on your page, and you, like I said before, you have overcome a lot. And you posted a picture on your Facebook page that definitely caught my attention and everybody's attention, and you were upfront about it, and
Yep.
that you're in full recovery, and you have been for 6 years. Um,
No, so that was actually I shared that memory. That was from 4 years ago. So I was a decade now in April.
10 years, 10 years.
10 years in April 9th,
This is
10
awesome.
years.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
This is
10
really
years,
it.
man.
And one day at a time. And I love the fact that you posted that and you showed a before picture. That's what really
Yeah.
impressed me because everybody shows their picture up to what they are now, but
Yep.
they don't always necessarily show where they came from. And I
Oh,
thought that
yeah.
took a lot of courage and a lot of heart to do that, saying, "This is where I was. I'm here now, but this is where I was." At the same time, it wasn't like I was there, I can never go back. No, you have a healthy respect for that. And
100%.
uh, so talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, if you don't mind,
Of course.
how did that happen for you? Where you fell into that? Was it just peer pressure, or were you in the
No.
music scene, or
No, what it was for me is that when I was 8, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I've been a type 1 diabetic for almost 30 years now. So I always like felt like different. Like it was always like I had to give myself injections all the time. I had to like test my fingers all the time. Just so I always had this idea that I was going to die young. I'm never going to make it to 30. So I had this doom, and I talked about it a lot in rehab with the counselors in group with the other guys that were there, and a lot of them were like, wow, yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I just had this idea that I'm never going to make it past 30. So let's just have fun and not worry about the future, basically. Um, so that was the mindset. It was never like a peer pressure. It was never some deep seated, like not every addict has a horrible past or a horrible story and has been through
Right.
traumatic things and abuse and stuff like that. It's like there's an addict living right next door to you right now, and you just would never know it. So that's kind of why I started. And then obviously it just gets out of hand. You just fall more and more and more into it. And you just need a wake up call. And luckily, I have a good family, like a great family. They're like my backbone. I don't know if you could see them,
Sure.
but they're my backbone. I love them, and they kind of called me out on my bullshit when we all went down to Florida for like a anniversary of like my grandparents in 2014, and they were like, "You look like shit. What is going on?" I was living in California, so they didn't know what was going on. They're all in Connecticut. I was in California doing drugs, and they just kind of didn't know, and they're just like, "Wow, you look horrible. What's going on?" And I just kind of broke down and said, I need to go to rehab tomorrow." And that was it. That was it. That was April 8th. I went into rehab to 2014. And then
They knew.
April 9th, I count as my date. That's the date I woke up without opiates, oxys, whatever, heroin, whatever you want to say.
Do you think, Mike? Do you think they knew what your potential was? They knew it. They must have recognized it. They must have saw something there in you that said he's so much more than what he's doing now. He's
Oh
great.
yeah,
He's
they were
destined for
like,
greater things.
they and yes, obviously my parents are the best. Both my brothers are the best, and all my friends and friends who are watching this that have helped me. I've had so much help, so much support. My best friend was addicted too. He got clean 2 years before me, so me and him connected on that level. So he's a good support system too. But my family, like obviously my parents have potential in me, but I think they just wanted the old Mike back. They're just like, "Who's this person? I don't know. I don't know who you are." And so then when I got clean, they were just like, "Oh, this is the old Mike. This is who we want. This is who we missed." So it's getting me choked up talking about it, but
It's getting me choked up too, brother.
it's
Because
real.
I'm
It's
so
real.
proud of you, man. I mean, this is
Thank
a
you.
fantastic right here. This is fucking fantastic.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude.
And the thing is, though, the parents, they saw you. They knew you had a sharp mind. It was intelligent. You knew what you could do. And
For sure.
here we are 10 years later, man. You got your fucking own
I own a
business.
fucking
You're up,
store, dude. It's
yeah,
crazy, man.
dude,
It's
man.
crazy.
Give yourself a fucking hand, man. Seriously, give
Thank you,
yourself a
man.
fucking
Thank
hand,
you so much.
man.
Thank you
This
so
is just
much.
rocking.
That is
So,
awesome, dude.
yeah, man. Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
So, you know what? I guess rehab must have been a bitch, right? I mean, it must
Yeah,
have
no,
been
fuck it.
utterly bitch.
Yeah, it was a
Um,
bit.
what are some of the things that you took with you? What are some of the tools they gave you to help you rediscover who Mike could be? Who was it there that you got the idea of because you want to think about what you want to do in life. You want to come out, you want to be productive, and you got to stay busy. You got to stay
Absolutely.
busy.
That's the
Uh,
key.
what,
Yeah.
what are the germ what are the genesis of Mike's Monsters? And I love the title of the
Thank you.
store too. It's so appropriate if
Thank
you
you,
think
man. I
about
appreciate that. I had like a
it.
list of like 15 names, and I was like, I don't know which one. I picked Mike's Monsters.
I think Mike Monsters is both creative and cautionary.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think
It
they're
lets people know
really
it
cool.
lets people know what it's about. Don't bring your 3-year-old in unless they like Jason or something. I don't know. But
Right. Um,
yeah,
y- y-
in
um,
rehab, it's so funny because like in rehab, when you first walk in and you're detoxing, whatever you're doing, your mind's going a mile a minute. You want to get out of there. You're just smoking cigarette after cigarette. I quit smoking. Now I just kind of hit my vape here. This isn't marijuana, guys. Don't worry. So now I just hit my vape. This is my only kind of vice that I really have now. But when you're in there, like I'm talking to my counselor, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Vegas and I'm gonna be a poker player. I'm gonna go play poker for my life because I like to play poker when I was younger, you know." So like, and then I'm like, "No, wait, I'm not gonna do that. No, hold on, that's not gonna work out. I'm gonna like the problem is you're thinking 20 steps ahead when you should be thinking, what am I gonna do in the next hour? Like literally, how am I gonna make it through this next hour rather than thinking about like what you want to do with the rest of your life. So it literally becomes this and it's the day by day thing. Yeah, it's the cliche thing to say, but when you first get clean, like it feels like a lifetime ago for me now. But when you first get clean, your world is rocked. You have to find yourself again, rediscover yourself and who you are in every way, every aspect, from personal to professional. I lost you. Is he back? Are we
Yeah,
back? We're
yeah.
back. So you just have to we're gone again. We're
Uh-oh.
back.
Yeah, thank if this
I love
doesn't
it.
happen, if this
That's
doesn't
fun. You messing
happen,
with me, man. I get it. We're cool.
yeah, if this doesn't happen once a week, is StreamYard's not doing his job.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no. So that's that. I think the biggest thing is just rediscovering yourself, who you were. Cause like I was doing, you start smoking weed at 13. I remember my doctor told me this and it just, I'll never forget it. He's like, you got to remember, you started smoking weed like a lot of people do at like freshman year of high school, 8th grade, 13, 14. He goes, and so that's a substance. So you developed on a substance. So your brain did not develop naturally. So you have to retrain your brain to what it was or who you are and what it is. So so that's kind of the trick to it, is just kind of rediscovering yourself, like who you are, what you want to be, like you said, what you want to do for the rest of your life, but just take it slow,
You
take
know,
it slow.
I never heard of that. I never, now that you said that, it actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's
If
crazy,
you're
right?
right,
Yep.
if you start at 13, because they say what the brain doesn't stop developing until it's 25.
20, yeah, 25, what they say. Yeah. So you're the whole time your brain's developing, you were on substances. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's all very he was very scientific. It was just like really, and like that was the aftercare. So like I went to rehab, and then rehab was a nightmare. Like I went to ICU twice because I was a type 1 diabetic. So my detox was like horrible. I was passed that. They found me passed out in the hallway. They had to call the ambulance. Then I went to ICU. Then they took me back to rehab. Then I went back to ICU because I was so dehydrated. So it was kind of a mess getting like detoxing. But then the aftercare, I stayed in Florida for a couple months after. And like that's where you're not sick anymore and you're just like learning. That's when you learn all the good stuff. Because when you're in rehab, detoxing or something, you're not paying attention to what there's like you're in there on it's like day 8 and you're still like feeling like shit. So like the last thing you're thinking is like, what is this counselor saying to me right now? I'm not retaining any of it. So it's the aftercare that kind of really helps. That's what sticks with you.
I know. I say to a lot of people, I said this. I say, I've said this to a lot of people, and that is, listen, you didn't become an addict in 30 days. You're not gonna, a detox in 30 days isn't gonna undo it. You
That's a
know,
great quote. That's a
it
good
took you
quote.
30, it didn't take it didn't take you 30 days to get here. It's not gonna take you 30 days to get you out of here. But
Absolutely.
you mentioned the aftercare too. So here you are, you come out, you're doing aftercare, and you're learning to love yourself again, take care of yourself, got the family with you. So by how long did it take you to get to where you felt comfortable enough in your own skin to where you wanted to do to figure out what you want to do with your life? Where
Yeah.
how old were you when you came with the idea to do your own business, and how
So
did that come about? How did that come about?
yeah, so I mean, like we talked, I've always loved horror and stuff. And when I got out of rehab, it was like, what do I want to do? And I worked for because I worked in TV and film and stuff. So I worked for like a production company out here in Stamford, Connecticut, just doing like, running their shop, like nothing crazy. But I didn't love it. And then I started doing a teaching assistant job at the film production department at a community college up here. So I was doing that for like a year and a half, 2 years. I got clean at 27. So then by the time COVID hit in 2020, I'm 37 now. So I was 30, my math would be 33, somewhere around there. And that's when I was like, okay, they shut down the school. So like I wasn't working and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And that's kind of when the genesis of it started. I started seeing people on Instagram. There's a show on Amazon about toy stores. They go to it's a really cool show. I forgot what it's called. You guys should look it up if you're into like toys or collectibles. They go to like local mom and pop shops all around the country. So it's a really cool show. That gave me the idea.
I'd probably like to watch that, but
Yeah.
I probably watch that, and then I just probably just get my feelings hurt all again when I didn't see until someone brought out the Black Phillip, and then I'd just be looking at it
Yeah,
going
you're
like,
gonna see it. Yeah, you're gonna see it. I'm gonna get you a Black Phillip. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna send it to you, dude. Don't worry. I'm gonna find it. Okay, I'm gonna find it. I'm
Man,
gonna find it.
yeah, that's the thing that yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that later about the collectability aspect of it. Finding key items for people because
Yeah.
that's gonna be a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's great.
so here we are. You got the genesis for the idea. You
Yep.
got now had you ever gone to business school? Did you know anybody who ran a small business?
No,
Uh,
well, yeah. Like my aunt owns a bookstore. She's owned that for like I think 6 or 10 years or somewhere around there. So I got a lot of advice from her. There's a people the town that I'm from, it's a city, but it's like a small town. It's like a small town city. So everybody kind of knows everyone who went to high school with who. So I do know a couple people who have opened small businesses, but not like this, more like eateries, stuff like that, like the food industry. So I didn't know anyone really that I can kind of like in my genre, except one store called Weirdo Wonderland. It's up in Shelton, which is kind of like 45 minutes from me. And I asked him some advice. I walked into his store maybe 3 years ago, and that's when I really said to myself, "Oh, I can do this." And I asked him advice, he gave me advice. Um, but I'm not a business like I never thought I would own my own business. I'm not a businessman. I'm not like, like this entrepreneur guy. That's not at all. It's not me at all. I just want to wake up, go to a place that I don't hate while I'm alive, while I'm breathing, and serve the community something that they don't know that they want. And then also have people who love that stuff, but there's nowhere to go in this community. And then they find it and they're like, holy shit, thank God there's a horror store around me now. So it birthed more from that than from me saying, I want to make money. What's the best way to make money? I can do 10 different things right now to probably make more money than what I'm doing right now. But I want to be happy. I don't want to wake up every day and just be like, okay, I got to go to work. I got to go to do this. I don't, that's gone for me. And it's crazy. And it's such a great feeling that like, I cannot wake up tomorrow and go to the shop. I can't wait to do it tomorrow. And it's great. So I never thought I'd own a business, but I guess I do own a business. So I'm a businessman.
Now, do you have a team with you? Do you have like you said, that is true. Some people they're more suited to be the front man, to be the
Yeah, sure.
face of the business. Now, you don't have to tell me the details and
Yeah.
specifics, but do you have like a team behind you that handles the nuts and bolts of it, like
So
handles the inventory
no,
or pay the bills or something
no,
like
it's just me. I do everything. I do everything. But I have my accountant who like I can like when tax season comes around, I ask him questions about stuff like that. Like I have that kind of thing. But like as far as the day-to-day operations of the business, it's just me. It's just me doing it.
that?
But my
Okay.
store is like it's like just under 800 square feet. So it's not a giant store. It's not, this 1,500, 2,000 square foot spot where there's a giant storage room. It's kind of easy. It's a good startup. It was a really good startup spot.
Sure.
So it's easier to manage. And with my inventory, it, it's I just it's just kind of easy. You just kind of write what you get down. You know what you paid for it. You price it, and then when your POS system tells you when you're running low. Okay, I got to order more, right? And then I reach out to all the people. I'm going to show some. I got some cool stuff to show off that I get from people who make that. Like they actually make the stuff, whether it's 3D printed or handmade. They make it and sell it. I buy it wholesale. I'm like, hey man, you make these? Let me buy 30 of them and I'll sell them in my shop and he sells them to me for cheaper. And I just bump the price up a little bit so I can survive. And I bring it into a brick and mortar where otherwise the person who came in would never know that this item existed. They would just never know.
Right.
So that's kind of, I do it all, but it's really not that much. So I don't want to give myself any credit for doing it. It's really not that much stuff.
Now,
Hopefully it does.
how long has the store been open? About a month?
A month and a half. It's been about a month and a half now. Yeah.
So, what are some of the things that you've learned from your first month and a half? What are some of the things that you've learned and are applying now to improve your business?
Well, like I said, I am learning something new every day.
Wow.
I'm learning I don't because I when I first opened, I had a lot of people coming in and wanting to sell me stuff, and I thought I kinda had to buy everything, like, anything like, they had, if it was a good price and I can make money on it, I should buy it. So, like, I bought, like, 6 Hess trucks, right? That was, like, something I bought from some nice kid. And they're sitting in my shop right now, and I'm like, "I shouldn't have bought that." It was only like $60, whatever it was, but, like, I'm like, though, that's just a dumb thing. My store my I don't need to have everything. So, I'm learning something new every day, and that was one thing is, like, cater to your audience. Don't think just because this day was slow, 4th of July was slow, right? Or something that you need to change stuff or you need to have someone comes in asking for Pokemon cards. I don't have Pokemon cards. That doesn't mean I have to go buy 100 Pokemon cards just because one person came in and asked.
Right.
So it's little things like that that I'm learning. And also, I just the people is what I love my customers. I love the people who come in there. I love talking to people. I they're so it's just great. People and some people just come in and talk, and that's fine. That's fine. You come in to talk. But I give them about 6 times. Come to my shop about 6 times. You don't buy something like a magnet maybe for $6 or a sticker. Then I'm gonna be like, "What are we doing here, bud? This isn't a talk and tell here. We gotta buy a magnet. I'll talk to you for an hour, you know." But the 7th time, it's a little much.
A good friend, I, he- God, I want to say, I want to say this. See, I'm terrible with names. I want to say it's Dennis.
So bye.
I know it's not. I know it's not, but our friend says for sure, don't overwhelm yourself. I agree with that. And I used to see that too. With people come in and like a lot of comic book shop or what have you. They just come on in there and they just sit around and just talk. And it's like,
Absolutely.
well, I can't really necessarily just talk to you, especially if customers come in. And I love to talk, but it's not a hangout place. This is not a bar. This is not.
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
oh gosh, I got it right.
Got it
Eric,
right, Dennis.
Eric will be so proud of me.
Love it.
Dennis is he's also a podcaster as well.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, he does a podcast with our friend Eric, and yeah, I agree with what he says. He says don't
Absolutely.
overwhelm it. And you're right though. If people tend to come in on a store like yours and they tend to just want to hang out, and it's like it's not a hangout place; it's a
Yep.
business. It's like if you
Absolutely.
come in and spending some cash with me,
Yep.
awesome, spend some money. I mean, don't
That's
come
it.
in here to talk with me. I
Yep.
need more than that. Come on in and buy an item once in a while, you
And I
know?
got like I have like $6, magnets or stickers or something. Like it's just like it's not like I'm asking you to come in and spend $50. Like come in, like I said, they can come in 2, 3, 4, 5 times even and not buy anything. I'll talk to you for an hour. I don't care, right? It's not like it's killing my business, but I would never do that. So I guess it's just that I don't understand how people do that. Is that like they can just go to a store like mine or a small business where they know it's not Target, Walmart, where it's like it doesn't matter if they make that $10 sale, right? It's like I get a sale. If I see a kid or someone walking around my shop with like a NECA in their hand or like a figure or something in their hand, I'm like a little kid. I'm like, oh, I got a sale, baby. Let's go. Like I get excited over any sale. And I never understood that until I owned a small business where now when I walk into local places, small businesses, it's like I don't care what it is. I'm buying something. I just don't care because now I know how it feels on the other side of it. It's very
Right,
interesting. Very interesting.
right. See, Dennis mentions, and on the flip side, they come in 6 times, and you're kind. Some of that starts to some of them, yes, some of them start to expect free shit. Yes, that
Oh,
is true, or big discounts. No
yes.
kidding. Yes. Oh, how about hook me up with this and give me a discount on this? It's
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah, oh yeah, I do that a few times. I'm also not even be here. Or to
Yeah.
me, it's like I tell you, or they come in expecting that, and you go like, I tell you what, you first.
You first. That's it. You
You first.
first. You
Yeah,
first.
where do you work at? Well, I'm a car dealer. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, that 60% you want it for that Chucky, I want the 60% off of that
Off,
car.
yeah,
Well,
off
let's
the
do that.
Camaro over there. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you
You're
know,
right.
uh,
You're right.
yeah, people tend to take advantage of kindness. They see kindness as weakness, and it's like it's not. It's a business. You're there to make money.
And I'm not, and I don't
That's why
want to be.
that's why
I don't
we
want to
have
be.
you.
I don't
We
want to be
want
mean
people.
to people. Like that's the last thing I want to do is be mean to anyone. So I am nice to them and I do talk to them, but there are like maybe 3 or 4 people that I can think of that have been in. I'd call them regulars, right? But they haven't bought anything. They just like to come and talk to me. And I'm nice and I talk and I'm nice to them, but I don't know when I'm okay, what am I supposed to like they just come in and there's a TV kind of on like right across from my counter. So there's always like I always have a horror movie on or like YouTube, like just something going. And they'll just be coming like, what you watching? What and I'm like, I'm on my iPad building the website, dude. I'm not watching this movie right now. It's just on the TV. I'm
Yes,
not at
I'm
home
being
on my couch. So people can definitely take advantage of your kindness and whatnot. And I don't want to be mean. So, you know, just buy, I'm saying come in and buy a magnet, guys. That's all I'm saying. Just buy a
Yeah, come
magnet
in and
or a
buy
sticker. That's
something.
all I'm saying.
Buy something. You know, come in and support your local small business. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
What's it like to get inventory? I mean, have you found it to be hard to work with some of the bigger companies? Some of the
Yeah.
bigger companies they tend to not really give mom and pop stores much love. They want they're aiming toward the Target or the Walmart or what have you. Um, so, is it easy for you to deal with them so far? Have you had any trouble getting inventory in or anything like that, or everything been pretty smooth?
So I work with 2 like third party distributors, which they're great, they're awesome, but they're not directly from the company. So they're getting them like from NECA or Funko or whatever the brand, McFarlane, whatever. They're getting it from them. They're marking it up, and then I'm paying for it way more than Target pays for it or Walmart pays for it. So NECA is a big brand that I carry in my store. It's like the biggest brand of figures kind of right now. Everybody knows that. And I applied to them once, like maybe a year ago when I first had the idea, but I didn't have a website or anything yet. So I just like kind of see what they would say, and they never responded. But now my website's up, so I'm gonna try to reapply to NECA and see if they do work with mom and pop because I know that they have like exclusive deals with Target, exclusive deals with Walmart, stuff like that. But I'm just curious to see if they now that my website's up and I'm more legitimized, hopefully they maybe will, but other than that, that's why I reach out to other quote unquote small business owners who are on Etsy or other websites. I reach out to them and I'm like, hey man, I'll buy 30 of these masks. I'll buy them from you right now. So he gets a giant sale right away. And he just gives them to me at a discount. And then I price them exactly what he has them priced on his shop or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
why I like reaching out to other small businesses who are on Etsy because it's kind of the only place I can go unless, you
You
know.
know what I really like as a collector. What it really appeals to me as a collector when you do that is the fact that you are getting something really small and unique. You're not
Yeah,
going to get this at every single store.
exactly,
I can walk
exactly.
into this store and get this. I can't. If I walk in there and I see a specialty item that you've gotten from a small business on Etsy,
Yep.
it's just one person, and to me, that's more collectible. That's more
Yes.
because when people come in there and you're showing off your collection, they're going like, "Where the hell did you get that mask at?"
Yep.
Well, I got it from Mike's Monsters.
Yep. Exactly.
You can't get this anywhere else but there. Let me give you down his website.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
And, I gotta give a shout out to my marketing manager, my mom. She had the genius idea of buying, like, they're like tote material bags, like those Target tote material bags with the logo on it. So, there's a sign, if you buy anything, you get a free tote bag, and then I just put it in the tote bag with my logo on it, and it's free marketing. It's genius, and the people love the bags. They just love them. Some people come back, I have a black and a white. They're like, "Ooh, I got 2 blacks and 1 white. I'm gonna take a white this time." Like, it's so I got to give a huge shout out to my mom. She's probably watching right now. So, mom, if you are watching,
mm,
I love you. Thank you so much for that idea.
Dennis has he has something for you. He says, Mike, if you have a Twitter, shout that out so I can share your post there. I don't have an Instagram, so he wants to go ahead and help become part of the
Okay.
grassroots team.
I don't have a Twitter yet. I've never been a Twitter guy.
Right.
I'm probably gonna start one, but I've just never been a Twitter guy, so I don't have a Twitter yet. I'll probably start one, in the next couple months or whatever. So look out. It'll probably just be what my Instagram is, Mike's Monsters CT, because I'm in Connecticut. So Mike's Monsters CT. I'll probably just do that on Twitter. But thank you so much for that offer. But I don't have a Twitter. I'm an idiot. I don't know. I don't have one.
Well, Dennis has, like I said, he has a podcast, so I know that he can shout you out, and I got the
Appreciate
website.
it.
I got the website, so he can copy that.
Awesome.
He can copy that off mine, or in the description box, Dennis. You can go there and see his website to his shop. You can go ahead and shout out and post that on maybe next time you do a podcast with Eric.
Thank you.
Aaron says, Mike, I love the stream. It's Aaron, by the way. Yep. Yep. See, thanks for still being here, Frog. I appreciate it. And then Dennis is saying mystery boxes are pretty popular as well. If you haven't already done that, man, mystery boxes, man, those are a trip right there. But
Yeah.
that's a lot of inventory, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I don't have any yet, but I am constantly buying new stuff every week, or at least I'm trying to. I might get a couple little things, or I might get more. But yeah, that's definitely something to look into. Those are kind of hot right now. Absolutely. Yep.
Now I noticed that on the website, your hours are a little bit. They're like from 12:30 to 6:30. Is that because you haven't had? Are you going to hire anybody to help you on the store, or
So
are you going to be doing it yourself? Pretty much right now for like the first year.
yeah, I'm starting with just myself. And I just did those hours as just like to start to see when people would come. But I always like that's on the website, but like on my Instagram, at the end of every 6:30 or 7:30 is the word is ish, because I like sometimes I'll stay a half hour later. Sometimes I'll
Sure.
stay a half hour or half close 50 minutes earlier or whatever. It just kind of depends on how the day is going. So I just put those numbers, those hours on the website, just as kind of a base. But I usually post on Instagram, kind of once every day or two, at least a story every day, just to say, hey, I'm here till whatever tonight or something like that, just because it does fluctuate a little bit. But right now, it's just going to be me. I just can't. I've had people come in and say, hey, are you hiring? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm not hiring right now. I just can't. I just don't need the help yet. But I don't know. In 6 months, maybe I will need the help. It's the
Yeah.
summer, so it's not when Halloween comes around. Christmas, it's just going to be a little bit more. I might need the help. So but I started at just the 5 days a week from that. So
Yeah, I like the idea of the 12 to 6:30. Like I might close 7:30,
yeah,
but you never want to open. You never want to close early. But you
no,
want to
no,
say
never,
no, no, no. You
never.
definitely want to sit there and say, yeah, 7:30, 8. I mean, because you just never know.
Yeah,
And your audience, and your crowd starts figuring out when you're going to be there, and yeah, I think it's a really cool idea.
yeah.
What have you discovered? Are horror collectors? What time do they get out of bed? I mean, what seems
Listen,
to be the best time for to shop the store?
um, well, like for example, yesterday I opened the store. It was a Wednesday, but I'm closed Monday, Tuesday. Um, so it was a Wednesday. I opened the door. I had like three customers, bang, 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 in the first 40 minutes of being open. And I was like, oh, maybe that might have been because they were waiting to come because I was closed Monday, Tuesday, right? I still don't know why. But listen, I'm not a morning person. That's why my hours are 12 or 12:30. I'm usually at the shop. I'm not waking up at 7 in the morning and opening up the shop at 9 because no one's coming to my shop at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I got this from other similar stores. I looked at their hours and I said, what are their hours? And I go, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to base mine on what their hours are basically. I didn't just like kind of make them up
No,
out of
no,
my head.
that's a smart play.
Yeah,
That's a
because
smart play.
because honestly, to tell you the truth, though, I didn't know. I'm like, what? Because every retail place is different. It just kind of depends where you are, what you're selling. And I looked at stores like mine. I go, oh, I love it. Not open noon. Perfect for me, man. I'm not a morning person. I'll stay. I'd rather stay at the store till 11 p.m. than wake up at 7 a.m. and go there early. So, I guess us horror people like to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
Um, so what are some of the collectibles that are hot? You brought some stuff to show us.
Woo-wee.
Like,
I got some stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
I
let's
got
do
some
some of this
stuff.
action. Uh,
So these are what I think are really cool. I get these were like one of my first purchases off Etsy, and they're really great. They are 3D printed movie logos. So this is like the Nightmare on Elm Street, and it stands. Oh, well, you can't see it, but like it stands on your shelf or whatever. You could put it in between. So like Nightmare on Elm Street, Jaws, what's up? Oh, you grew up in the 90s? You must know what this is. This is Goosebumps in the same color as the books. Oh,
shit,
you like Jason?
everybody's Goosebumps fans now.
Friday 13th. Boom. Oh, you don't like horror? That's too bad because I have the Goonies for you. What's up?
Oh, wow.
So it's and this I mean the thing in the thing blue. Come on, I mean, how can you resist that? It's so cool for 25 bucks. I mean, what are we? This is what are we doing here? It's the price of a cup of coffee, right? I don't drink
You
coffee,
know,
but it's got to
yeah,
be
you can
pretty
buy
close.
a cup and a half of Starbucks for 25 bucks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Then you got these to last a lifetime. So these are like I think those are really cool because I didn't know they existed until I found them. And then I love when people come into my shop and like, oh my God, like I didn't know that existed. So that's kind of what I'm trying to bring, as you said before, about people walking in and being like, oh my God, I never seen that before. So that's one of them. Do you want to see another one?
Yeah.
So
And we
uh
can get these on. If people want to order these, they can order these from the website, right?
absolutely. Oh, they're on the website. Mike'sMonstersToys.com. So like Mike's Monsters and then the word toys.com. And then these are cool. I just put these on the website. I have to like take photos of them and everything. I have a couple, but they're decorative knives. Which way is it? Sorry, it's messed up. So they're decorative knives this guy makes with the stand, and one side's Halloween, one side has Michael Myers, and they're real knives. They're really cool. That's the Halloween one. I got one of those
That's
left. I sold
beautiful.
the other two. Then you have like Nightmare on Elm Street. You got Nightmare on Elm Street with the stand. I got a Friday the 13th one with the stand. So those are cool just because they're knives, horror knives are, obviously go with horror. And then whatever movie you like, it's printed on the knife. You put it on the stand. It looks great on your shelf, whether next to your DVDs or whatever. I love them. I think they're the guy who makes them is talented. They're awesome.
I've never seen anything like that before. Those are really sharp. I mean,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively.
I like what you did there. I like your style, Pat. I like your style.
That's right. Shit. All
And
right.
then
Well, we're cutting edge here on 8 questions with.
cutting edge. I love it. And now, since we're talking about 3D printing, I bought I have a friend who 3D prints. Well, the guy do the podcast with 3D prints, and he makes great stuff. But I met a guy at a convention a couple years ago who makes like 3D prints, and he's really good at painting. So only bought two of them. He makes all different kinds of stuff. I got a xenomorph, sorry, not a xenomorph, the face hugger from Alien, like that comes out and grabs onto your face. Or the guy when he pops out of your chest, he made an awesome one. I think Aaron actually bought that one. He has that one. I sold a couple of them, but I brought two that I still have. So if you guys want them, they're on the website. So I don't know if you guys are House of a Thousand Corpses fans, but this is Captain Spaulding,
Look
all
at
3D printed. It's about 10 inches tall, I'd say.
that's wicked.
And like the best part about this is like this comes out like gray. Like this comes out as a gray thing. And then he paints it and it's just exquisite.
Yeah, look at that's one of a kind too.
It's wild. And now this one's awesome. I kind of don't want to sell it. It's up on my glass counter for people to obviously buy if they want, but it just looks so cool in the shop. I'm gonna have to bend down.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta sell it. I mean, it's now I heard you mention earlier about conventions. Now have you taken Mike's Monsters to a convention yet, or is it still too early in the game to think that?
The conventions are the convention that I will be at is this September 20th and 21st in Connecticut in Hartford. I will be there. And this should be there too. Hopefully, if no one buys it. This is a Pennywise bust 3D printed. It comes with a stand too. Well, the camera's flipped. It's tripping me out. It's like if I go left, it goes right. This is nuts. Um, But
Tim
look at the
Curry.
detail, people. I mean, what are you kidding me with the boat on the bottom? Come on. This thing's ginormous. It's like 15 inches big. So I just love this piece. I think it's super cool. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
it's awesome.
very
And I love Pennywise. I'm a big Pennywise guy. So um
that is so cool. That is wicked. That
yeah.
is wicked.
So
And
that was just a little taste of the 3D stuff that I have in the shop of just like original 3D prints that are basically, like you said, one of a kind. They're just one of a kind. He makes one and that's it. And there you go.
now, did I read that right on the website where you say that all within the United States only, but there's free shipping on $75 and above for people?
Yeah, I think right now it's actually free shipping, just free shipping because I can't figure out how to change it yet. So you guys might want to hop on that. When you like, if you go to check something out, it just says free shipping because I think I need to go in my POS system and change it. But
Right.
the updates, it doesn't sync with the website fast. So I gotta just change the shipping. So you guys might want to hop on that while there's free shipping, but there will always be over 75 bucks free shipping. Absolutely. No
Uh,
question.
well, we will toss that out. People who are watching on the replay, there
Free
you go.
shipping.
People in the chat, yeah, free shipping. Anything in the store,
Anything
uh,
in the store you want. What do you want? I'll ship it to you right now.
right
Right
now,
now.
right
I can't
now.
see the chat. I don't know why I can't see the chat. That's weird.
On
The chat.
can you see it on your screen? It
Oh,
says,
here we go. Oh, I was
yeah.
on private chat. Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah, cool. Awesome. I'm not a streamer. I've never streamed really, so I'm not used
Yeah,
to
well,
the
that's the
live
next
chat.
question I was going to. That was the next question I was going to talk to you about, and that is publicity. What are you doing to publicize the store, and how can people help out in doing that?
Well, so mainly right now it's just Instagram. I'm really using to kind of build a grassroots following. I'm not really people have contacted me about like paying for to be advertised on Instagram, and I'm gonna do that eventually. I'm kind of taking it slow as it goes, and I'm really, to tell you the truth, I'm waiting until this convention comes
Yes,
because that's when the word's kind of really going to get out is when I'm at that convention, and it's in Connecticut. The convention is in Connecticut in Hartford, so that go to the convention are obviously going to be within driving distance of the shop. So I'm kind of waiting to see what the reaction on there is and what comes from that. And if I'm wiped out, if they buy out all my inventory, I'm kind of that's like my benchmark, and it's in like 2 months. So as far as that, I try to post on Instagram as much as I can. I do Google ads. I talked to someone, it's not worth it. I heard Google ads is not worth it. It's too expensive and it doesn't pay off. Um, so I'm just kind of doing the grassroots thing straight on Instagram
I think
and
that and doing the podcast, like you said, you have
yep.
a podcast.
But
I
yeah,
think between that and Instagram, I think
oh,
those are the two best ways.
and what was good is that someone came to the shop a couple days ago, and it was a family, two brothers, and one of the brothers like kids, and they're from Jersey, and they were just driving around like they were just like, I want to go see Connecticut. I'm like, okay, I guess that's something that someone would do. Just go drive to Connecticut, and they're like, they just Googled toys or toys and collectibles, and I was the first one to pop up when they were in the area. So that made me go, okay, great. At least I'm the first one that pops up without me having to pay, because you can obviously pay to pop up there. So um yes, my podcast is on Spotify. We have one called Fiends Watch where we review horror movies or just regular movies. Um oh, this is cool, man. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the live chat. Sorry.
No, 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 not at
Sorry
all.
about that. Yes, it's on Spotify
I
too.
like one thing I really like about what Nightmare Toys does is they have a podcast here on they actually have two. They have 2 hour and a half long podcast on YouTube. One is with the staff of the store, and there's one that's
Oh,
just
that's
Chris
cool.
herself. And then Christy herself will talk about what they watched that week, what toys are coming in, like this and that, and it's really interesting, and
It's
people will
amazing.
love to see that.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Especially
listen,
especially when they have the toys, especially when they have the new collectibles out and people, um, it's very fun. It's very interesting.
love
Now,
it. Yeah.
have you had some of the what kind of bumps have you had so far that you noticed? Like, Do you accept pre-order sales, or are you waiting for that until you get, until you get a
Yeah, I'm
little?
kinda waiting on the pre-order thing just because I myself am pre-ordering inventory from my distributors, like, now, right? And it says it's coming, for example, it'll say September 2024, right? And then September comes around and it gets pushed back 3 months again. Pre-ordering is like it's horrible, but
Yeah,
maybe when NECA finally accepts me as one of them, we accept him, one of us. We accept him, one of us.
I
Dude,
swear, I've heard some stories about that, and man, I just think that to me, I just think if mom and pop stores just could ever, get together about that,
I know. I
you
know. I
know,
commented on one of their Instagram posts recently of just like, I wasn't mean. I was just like, hey, you guys want to give some of us small mom and pop shops a shot at all? Like just to put it on their page, whatever. Um, just because I'm sick of seeing exclusive at Target. Come get the
or
NECA that we sold to them for $12 and they're selling it to you for 36. It's tough. It's tough with the big box stores. So that's why I like to focus on the smaller, more unique things that aren't the, NECAs or the Funkos. And listen, I got Funkos for you. You want to come to my shop? I got Funkos. I got NECAs for you. I got whatever you need. But I also have the other stuff as well. I have a wall of Jason masks. So it's like, I brought some Jason masks as examples. This is a cool one I got left. It's the bloody one
that's
from
good.
I don't know which number. It's another bloody one. These are handmade. Classic Jason mask, just a staple,
Right,
And
right,
I mean, this is people. I had a bunch of bloody ones with like the blood all over it. Those sold out really quick, but
nice.
these are awesome. And then I also have one, like I have a Pennywise one where he puts like Pennywise face on a Jason mask, bunch of other characters. So this is another example of the small stuff that I get from other small artists, business owners, whatever you want to say.
What is the number one requested item that people will come into the store to look for? Is it the big collectibles, or is it a mixture of small collectibles and bigger ones? What seems to be the best seller for your store at this particular moment?
That's a great question. That's a great question because I don't really know if I have an answer for you because I thought it was gonna be a lot of the NECAs, like, because I have, like, a bunch of the, like, the hanging racks where the NECAs just hang. I thought that those were gonna kinda get cleared out, but it seemed like the collectors, they kinda already have some of the NECAs, right? So they don't really need them anymore. So they're looking for, like, the more, like, the 3D printed stuff or the Jason masks or whatever it may be. So I really there really is no number one thing that I'm like, "Oh, that's what someone comes in and buys 100%." But again, my store is just kind of a hodgepodge of just different stuff. So I have like one of this or one of that or two of this. And, it's not like I can say, oh, I sold 16, Mario carts today. I don't know why I said Mario, but I sold that many today. So it really depends. What I can say is I've noticed characters. I've noticed people coming in and saying, hey, what Michael Myers stuff do you have? Hey, what Ghostface stuff do you have? Do you have any more Ghostbusters stuff? Like Ghostbusters is big now, so I just ordered a bunch of new Ghostbusters. I got like this awesome dope Slimer bobblehead. He's coming out of the trap. It's like so cool. I got the Terror Dogs. I got the Marshmallow Man. So that's what I noticed is people asking about certain franchises or IPs. That's kind of what I noticed more.
Um, so what's coming up for the store now? I mean, are you gonna be launching a sale anytime soon, or is it always on sale? Things are always on sale now.
Well, I'm always
Um,
selling. I'm always selling. Whatever you want, I'm gonna sell it to you, except for a couple things in the shop that are, like I said before, I just can't sell. Like this, I have a Psycho Gorman mask that I made eyeballs for out of colored scented balls. I guess they're for your shoes. You put these color scented balls in your shoes. I got them at like Dick's Sporting Goods. But they're like tie-dye and wild colors. So I took those and I taped them inside the mask and then just put the mask on a stand, and that's on my middle glass case, like right when you walk in. So if people know Psycho Gorman, it's a really niche movie that came out, I think in 2021.
Yeah.
But if you know it, you love it. Like if
Right.
people really love it. So I've had a couple people be like, "How much is that Psycho Gorman mask?" And I'm like, "Can't sell it because you can't buy it anymore. That's the problem." So
Yeah.
that's like one thing I won't sell. But I have some sales planned coming up. I have some giveaways that I'm going to be doing on my Instagram. So make sure you follow me on Instagram because I'm just going to do some giveaways, maybe some live auctions that I have coming up. But I just kind of wanted to get my feet on the ground in this first month or two, test out the waters and make sure this wasn't the worst idea in the world, and I
No,
wasn't
I don't think it's the worst
just,
idea at all. It's gonna, it probably will take a little bit of time, Mike, but it
yeah,
does seem to have the drive and the energy for it.
for
And
sure.
all you just need now is to develop that customer base. What
Yeah.
is, like I said before, what are the things? Oh, well, I guess you just answered that question. You got giveaways coming up. You got a podcast going. When is the podcast air? How many times a month do you do your podcast? And where can we?
We usually stick to once a week. But it's just kind of like whenever a new movie comes out that we want to like review, we'll do it. But we usually try to do it once a week, and that's kind of the schedule that we stick to, basically once a week. But I'm hoping to do, like you said, the Nightmare Toys thing. I'm hoping to maybe blend the two and do a podcast from the shop once a month, maybe, hopefully. Because I think it looks so cool in there, and I think it'd be a nice backdrop for a podcast with cameras and stuff. I think it would be a nice backdrop.
And Steven says that he'll be happy to throw some love out there for the business
Well, I
on
appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
and yes, by all means, the people who are watching the replay, feel free to share this out, and I'll be sharing this out as well, over and over and over. I totally love the idea of small businesses
Thank you.
operating. I definitely support it. I think it's a great thing to have, and it's a great thing to support.
Can I show off two more things? Can I show off
Sure,
two more things
sure,
real quick?
sure. What you got?
There's one of them's little, but I just think it's so cool, and I only have two. I want someone to buy it. It's only $35, but it's the handbook for the recently deceased from Beetlejuice.
Oh,
But it's a note card set. It's a note card set. So you get like a journal, you get like 25 different kind of note cards with envelopes and stickers, and then also obviously it can be used as a box to,
so
store
cool.
whatever you want in there. And to me, this is so cool. I don't know why no one's bought it yet, but so I wanted to promote it on here, guys. If you die, this is what you need. So
Yeah.
you might want to buy it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, has movies as movies come out, mainstream movies come out. Do you notice a surge of business after a movie will come out, say like an Abigail
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
any yeah,
For
like a
sure.
okay,
When a movie, like when the Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters, what they call it, Frozen,
was an Empire.
sucks Frozen because it was bad. It was a horrible movie. But
Yeah.
when that came out, I bought like, a bunch of maybe like 4 or 5 figures from that movie because I said, all right, the movie's coming out. Someone's gonna come in and want a figure from the movie. So that's what luckily I love movies, so I always know what's coming out. So that's a good I got that going for me, which is nice that I love movies, so I know what's coming out. So I kind of know what to plan for. I like Wednesday, the show Wednesday Adams, right? That season 2 will be coming out, I think, next year, and I have a bunch of Wednesday stuff. That's something that I just kind of keep my finger, like you said in the beginning, finger on the pulse. I try to keep it on the pulse a little bit, just to feel it, make sure it's still alive, and then when something pops up, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna have it in the shop. And the last thing I wanted to show off, though, before I don't want to take up all your time here,
No,
but
they're fine.
I got no room. I got no room here. So this is another Pennywise bust. This cameraman, I'm sorry. This is another Pennywise bust, and they made like 250 of them, I think, from chapter 2. And it is so amazing that if someone doesn't buy it, I'm gonna like try to keep it for myself. And I only have one, and I don't think you can buy it anymore. I got it from Sideshow, so I don't think you can buy it anymore. There's a
That's
lot of foreign names, foreign language on here, and I'm dumb. I only speak one language. So I don't know who makes it, but it's really well done and it's awesome. And I wanted to show it off. So, guys, if you like Pennywise, then buy this guy.
That's amazing.
That's
That's
it.
amazing.
That's all I got.
You got some great pieces there. I can see I can definitely see the store getting more and more busy as it gets going, as people
Oh, yeah.
discover you and they discover you and your prices and your hospitality. I definitely see Mike's Monsters definitely rising up and taking over Stratford, Connecticut.
Stanford, Stanford, Stanford.
Stamford, Connecticut.
There is a
As far as
Stratford, so I don't want to get that. I don't want to get that mixed up. There is a
uh,
Stratford. I'm in Stanford. Yeah,
Stanford. Stanford's going to rise up, and Mike's Monsters is going to take over, and hopefully everybody in Connecticut and all the surrounding areas will go over and pay you a visit. We have your website and Instagram in the description box down below. We will be resharing this out, and we will be talking to you again come before Christmas time. I'm gonna try to have you and Christy come on both at the same time
I would love it.
so we can talk about toys
I would love
coming
it.
into the holiday season. Uh,
Absolutely. I would love it. I'd love to meet her. I would love to talk to her, pick her brain a little bit. So
it's
yeah,
amazing.
definitely. Let me know. I really appreciate you having me on. This was so much fun. I feel like an hour and a half or however long it's been has flown by. So
Definitely has, and I can't wait to do it again. And I really thank you for sharing your story and your honesty. I think you're a hell of a human being, and
thank you. Same here.
I can't wait for us to see each other again. Good luck on the convention. Let us know how it's
Thank you.
going, or give us a press release or whatever. We will shout it out for you here on Eight Questions.
Yes. Yes.
And in fact, we will be we'll do our best to hype up the store.
I love it, man.
I'll try to do that as much as I can whenever
Yeah.
we do this.
And,
So
I just wanna say also, though, we talked about addiction a little bit on here, so if anyone watches or saw that part, reach out to me if you have any questions or want to know anything, someone, you're in trouble, you're in that hit me up on Instagram. I love to talk about all this stuff, so hit me up and ask me whatever you wanna ask me. Mike's Monsters CT on Instagram. Don't be afraid to ask me, just shoot me a message, I'll get right back to you. Just I
I
had to say that since we talked
No,
addiction, I
no,
had to
no
say that.
problem. In fact, what I'll do is I'll even do a little bit better. I will put the National Drug Hotline and also put the National Suicide Hotline on your description box as a way for you showing that you do care. It is an important thing, and a lot of people who are in the horror, a lot of them are young and impressionable, and
Absolutely,
with
yes.
depression and whatnot. Just let them know that hey, even cool people such as Mike and myself here. I don't know about me being cool,
You're cool, dude,
but
you're like one of dude, you're so cool, man, this has been so awesome, like, I was nervous to come on here, and you are just like this was such an easy conversation, you're so cool, like, this has been so great, I had so much fun tonight, so
but
much
yeah,
fun.
we can't wait to do it again. Trust me. This is
Love it,
gonna be this is one I've been looking forward since we booked it, and
love it.
I'm so glad you're here. And I want to thank the chat, Dennis and John and Aaron and Mike was here. Mike Zaro here was earlier. John from Doomsday Crypt. John, that's someone who you should connect with on your Instagram too.
Okay,
John does he does conventions. He goes around
awesome,
the country doing conventions. He knows a lot of mask makers. He knows a lot of everybody.
okay,
John, I want to thank our friends Betty, and of course Frog from Frog Famous Frog, coming out and
bring it,
supporting it
bring it.
and passing it out. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, Aaron, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Thanks for your support. Feel free to give us a sub when you get your YouTube. If you get a YouTube channel going on, let me know, and I will also make sure that happens too.
Yeah,
All
absolutely,
right.
for sure.
You stay right there for a second. We will be back here on Tuesday for our double header, which we're doing two shows next Tuesday. Who are we working with? Well, I'm glad you asked. On the 16th, we will be heading over across the bay, across the pond for a 2 o'clock interview with actor and acting coach Derek Barr will be with us at 2 p.m.
That's
And then
great, isn't it?
on nighttime, we're talking to up and coming director Josh Graves will be here, and we'll be talking about Zombear. Making a
Oh,
movie
that's
called
his movie,
Zombear.
Zombear? That's
Yeah,
great. That's
I
great.
know, right? I can't
I
wait to
love it.
get Josh over here to talk to him about Zombear.
That's
He also
awesome.
did a great movie called Late Checkout. We'll be talking about that and
Okay.
about making movies. And he will be here on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So that's our regular time. All right, everybody. That's it for us. We will have a great weekend and we'll see you next Tuesday. And take care. Be safe. Peace.
Peace.